Hello, everybody. Hello. This morning. Okay. Y'all see the moniker. Y'all see the thumbnail, right? Let me say this real plain. I have to say this real plainly because sugarcoating this is it's never saved anybody. It's never helped anybody. Being nice never helps anybody, specifically in the state of Mississippi, right? So when a black mother sends her child out into the world on a holiday weekend, there's a silent prayer that goes up, that my child will come back, right? It's a prayer born out of a century full of trauma. It's a prayer that says, Lord, please bring my child home. So on the 4th of July, an 18-year-old black boy named Nolan Wells, went out on a boat trip, Horn Island, with a group of friends. He was an elite high school athlete, star linebacker, a young man with muscle, speed, coordination, who knew how to swim. And crucially, he knew how to swim very, very well. So when you look at the pictures from the day on the water, one thing immediately catches your eye. Nolan is the only black face in the entire group, or at least the only recognizable face in the entire group. So by the end of that weekend, Nolan was not home. He was dead in the water. His body was found 2 days later, washed up near Horn Island, west side, northeast or northwest side. Now, in any functioning, equitable justice system, the death of that 18-year-old boy in an isolated location, surrounded by people who left without him, would immediately trigger a relentless, microscopic homicide investigation. Immediately trigger that kind of homicide investigation. Every phone would be impounded instantly. Everybody's phone. Eyewitnesses would be separated and interrogated before their stories could align. Every piece of evidence, every GPS log, every 911 call, every dispatch tape would be laid out on the table. But that's not what happened here, right? Instead, before the ink was even dry on the incident report, the narrative started setting like wet concrete. We heard the word drowning. We heard the word accident. We heard talk of heavy drinking. We heard a convenient, bizarre story that this young man who rode out to an island on a boat with his supposed friends simply decided to stay behind on a remote strip of land with some mysterious unnamed female who his friends pulled anchor and drove away from. And then came the official line from local law enforcement: no foul play suspected. His parents, Christina and Elmore, looked at that story and said, what in the hell, what rational human being would say this adds up? No foul play suspected. What person would believe that narrative if their young, healthy 18-year-old child came home or didn't come home from a trip with his other friends? So today I'm laying out the 5 hard, undeniable reasons why black families look at the state of Mississippi and look at the investigation that's going into the death of Nolan Wells and say, we do not trust you. We cannot trust you. You have given us every reason in the world to not trust you. So I'm going to start with reason number 1. Reason number 1, why we can't trust what y'all say. Okay. Let me keep going. Reason why we can't trust what you say. The sheriff attempted to shut down the idea of foul play before the body was even cold, locking in a narrative of drowning without a single shred of proof to back up what the hell he was saying. That's reason number one. Let's talk about July 6th. Nolan's body is recovered. On that exact same day, Jackson County Sheriff Ledbetter goes on the record to signal to the public that no foul play has been identified. That ain't an investigation. That's damage control. You don't know jack, and you on TV telling people it's a no foul play. Ain't nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. How do you declare no foul play on day one? And how do they keep whispering accidental drowning to the public when they don't even have the receipts for the accidental drowning? Let's ask a simple question. If Nolan Wells just drowned, if that's all it happened was that he drowned, where's the proof? If this was such a straightforward accidental drowning off the rip, Ledbetter kept saying this was no accident, no foul play, it should be obvious that that boy died from drowning. Mississippi authorities would have had that official state autopsy stamped, signed, sealed, and thrown in our damn face weeks ago if it was an accidental drowning, if it was a straightforward drowning. They would have had it in our face, showing it to us right there on proof. Bam, he died because he drowned. They would have been begging to throw that proof in our damn face just to shut Ben Crump's ass up. Shut the family up and tell the black community, see, y'all got it wrong. It was just an accident. They would have been throwing it in our damn faces. Why haven't they thrown it in our faces then? If it was such just a routine drowning. Because they don't have the fucking proof. They don't have the proof that he died of drowning, because he didn't die of drowning. If he died of drowning, we would have seen that proof. She would have came out, bam, he had water in his lungs. This is what happened, blase woo-woo. Because they don't have proof that he drowned. They're hiding behind pending toxicology while the family's independent autopsy conducted by the former DC medical examiner Roger Mitchell came back undetermined. This man, Roger Mitchell, is at the top of his game, has been at the top of his game. If you want to know the truth of why he died, that man would find it. That man could not find the proof of his death because Mississippi kept his lungs and kept his throat. He explicitly stated he cannot rule out foul play and found an 8 to 12 inch area of deep red discoloration on the back of Nolan's head. And do you know why Dr. Mitchell couldn't definitively run further tests on the lungs and neck during the second autopsy? Okay, they removed, because Mississippi removed all of those things that would be able to prove that he died of drowning. They did not release those tissue samples or medical examiner photos to the family's independent doctor. Why didn't they release it to him? Here's all the evidence. Here he died of drowning. Here, Mitchell, Dr. Mitchell. Here's all the proof that you need to say that he died of drowning. Because they don't have the proof, because he didn't die of drowning. They stripped the exact physical evidence needed to verify drowning or strangulation, held on to it behind closed doors, and then went to the media telling the media, trust us, he drowned. That's what we gonna say. No proof, then no trust. You don't get to demand our faith while hiding the science. Put the evidence of him drowning out there, and then we can't say nothing. All of you people out there talking about he drowned, shut your ass up, because he didn't he didn't die of drowning. The coroner, the Mississippi coroner, the Mississippi pathologist would have put it in our damn face. She'd have stuffed it down our damn throat if that's how he died. Because he didn't die of drowning. The number 2 reason, this ain't happened in a vacuum. Mississippi has a long, bloody, documented history of brushing off black grief and minimizing suspicious deaths that involve young black men. When black parents in Mississippi demand independent autopsies, it's not because they are paranoid. It's because we have receipts that y'all will hide shit. We remember 1955. We remember 14-year-old Emmett Till dragged out of bed, beaten, shot, and thrown into the Tallahatchie River. And we remember how local law enforcement tried to minimize his death and protect the perpetrators. We remember 1964, Neshoba County. We remember decades of black bodies turning up in lakes, rivers, trees across Mississippi, where the official cause of death was routinely stamped accidental or suicide before the sun even came up. So when an 18-year-old boy goes out onto the river with a group of white peers in 2026, turns up dead, and the state's immediate instinct is to say it was just an accident, nothing suspicious here, nothing to see here, what do you expect black people to think? The playbook has not changed. It has just been updated. Yesterday, it was he ran away. Today is he chose to stay on the island and he drowned. The dialect changes, but the language remains the same damn way. Minimize black people's fear, dismiss them, their concerns, and protect the system. Number 3, these people have launched a vicious smear campaign against Nolan's mother. His legal team, Nolan himself, they have tried to smear their name, all to protect these white boys who were on that damn boat. Look at how the narrative shifted when the official story started falling apart. They didn't start investigating the last people who saw Nolan alive. They started investigating the character of the grieving mother and the victim, and Al Sharpton and Ben Crump. They come after his mama for hiring Ben Crump and raising money for a private autopsy. They ask, why is she making this about race? And why bring in Ben Crump? Because Ben Crump is going to make sure there's a spotlight that stays on the fact that this boy died, and there's no reason for this boy to have died. That's the reason why Ben Crump is there. It has nothing to do with race. Ben Crump has represented white people too. Y'all dumbasses just don't know that. He done represented white people too. Shut your ass up. They judge how a black mother grieves more than they judge how her child died. Christine had to go on social media herself and tell people, stop calling our phones telling us how to handle our child and the death of our child. The only question we need answered is what happened to our son. That's all she wants to know. Then they started whispering about alcohol. Now I done heard about, oh, he was so drunk. We don't know what was going on. He was so drunk. Party videos trying to smear Nolan. Well, there was drinking on the island, maybe cocaine, maybe blah, blah, blah. Since when does an 18-year-old drinking a beer at a 4th of July beach party mean he forfeits his right to come home alive? Thousands of teenagers drink on 4th of July. When a white teenager dies after a party, it's called a tragic accident. When a black boy dies, his drinking is weaponized to imply he brought it on himself. You should hear y'all. Y'all should hear yourselves. And why are they smearing the mother? Why are they smearing Ben Crump? Why are they smearing Nolan? Most importantly, to protect those goddamn boys on the boat. That's why they're smearing these people. That's why they're smearing a grieving mother. Those young men lawyered up immediately. Soon as their fucking feet were dry on land, they lawyered up and went silent and missed Nolan's funeral under the excuse of avoiding a distraction. Fuck that. If Nolan was my best friend, he was as good a friend as y'all say he was, I wouldn't have cared who would have threatened me. I would have went to his funeral and celebrated my friend. So don't give me the bullshit about y'all being friends with Nolan. I don't care what person would have threatened me. My best friend? My good friend? And I know I didn't do anything to him. I know he died outside of my cover. I didn't have nothing to do with it. I'm showing up at his funeral. I don't give a damn if I'm the only black person in a crowd of white people. I'm showing up for my friend. All because y'all want to protect these white boys, these boys on this boat. Those boys lawyered up immediately. If a group of black teenagers took a white 18-year-old out on a boat, came back without them, had the phones and the keys in their possession, gave shifting stories, and skipped her funeral, every single one of those black boys would be sitting in a goddamn jail cell with a fucking bloody lip. Shut y'all's ass up. The double standard is blinding right here, right now. A fourth reason why we don't trust you Mississippi people to do the right thing. The timeline provided to the public is full of holes, and law enforcement actively downplayed critical evidence that contradicts the friend's story. The friends claim they left Lahorn Island at 4:30 because the boat was taking on water and that Nolan voluntarily chose to stay behind on a remote barrier island with an unidentified female. Make it make sense. Then audio surfaced from a CETO distress call around 4 to 4:30 showing absolute chaos on that damn boat. There is indication that Nolan was either on that boat or near that boat during that crisis time. Why didn't law enforcement immediately lay out this audio to the public? Why the silence about it? I ain't seen no official people say jack shit about this audio. And let's address see, this is my thing. This was a lone female off the internet who cleaned up that videotape so people could hear it. Why ain't there experts cleaning up that videotape so the experts can hear it? Why ain't there experts checking out what was said on that video? Why is it that us internet people got to do that? That's all I'm saying. That's the question I got. Okay. And let's address the most obvious common sense flaw about the whole thing. Nolan's phone and house keys left on that damn boat. Check this out. I thought about this. Why would they have Nolan's phone? Why would they erase something on his phone? Because obviously he had stuff on his phone. Maybe Nolan did have his phone on that island. Maybe Nolan was taking pictures and doing what he had to do on that island, and it was on that phone. And they took that phone and tried to erase whatever happened that he had filmed. I don't know. But it's weird that you would think someone is missing off his phone. I don't know, but that's my just thought. Okay, if Nolan voluntarily decided to stay behind on a sun-baked island miles out in the Gulf of Mexico to hang out with a girl, why were his phone and his keys on the boat sailing back to the mainland without him then? I seen plenty of people who had videotapes out there on that damn water. I seen people with their phones out there on the water. Why didn't Nolan have his own phone with him? 18-year-olds, the phone is tied to their fucking ear. They ain't going to leave their phone. Not too many of them going to leave their phone. Okay? And where's this undefined or unidentified girl? Weeks have passed, yet law enforcement hasn't produced a name, a description, or a statement from her. She just came out, her mom came out, whoever came out, I don't know. Does she even exist? Or was she a convenient story invented to explain why a black young man was left stranded? Reason number 5. They're actively trying to wear the family down and force this case into an undetermined or accidental box so the public stops asking questions. Undetermined does not mean accident. Undetermined means we do not know and something suspicious may have happened. Yet the state's narrative takes undetermined, combines it with unproven whispers of drowning, and feeds it to the local media and make people think, nothing can be proven, so let's move on. This is a classic Southern bureaucratic stall tactic that has been happening in Mississippi for years, decades. Delay toxicology, hold back medical examiner photos, let time pass, wait for national attention to die down, and hope the family gets too exhausted to keep fighting. That's why Ben Crump was hired. Because we want justice for our son. That's what his mom said. That's what Nolan's mom said. I want justice for my son. I want to find out why my son died. Nobody believes that boy got on that boat, went to that island, with his friends and then left that island, was left on that island without anything happening. Nobody in their right mind would believe that. He did not drown. He did not drown. Otherwise, the coroner would have put that out there and shoved it in our faces. And they have not done that. And they have the lungs. They have the throat. They have the hyoid bone. They have all of these things. They have all of the evidence to prove how that boy died. Why haven't they put it out there? We all know he was drinking. We all know we all know all that. Why haven't you put out the results of that autopsy? You've had weeks. You have time to do all that. Y'all gonna come back and say something like, "Oh, he died of an overdose or something crazy like that." Really? So let's take that theory. Let's roll with that. He died of an overdose. He died of acute intoxication of alcohol. Let's roll with that. So if he died like that, why didn't his friends just call 911 and say, "We don't know how he died"? Why didn't somebody just call the 911 operator and say, our friend is dying. We don't know what's going on. We don't know. If you had nothing to do with it. Why didn't you call 911 for your friend? Who was on the island? That island to me looked like it's clear. Looked like it ain't a bunch of trees and shit. You could see on one side, you could see pretty much far away. Y'all mean to tell me now one, and that Warren person said it was thousands of people out there. That's what that Warren boy said. Warren said it was thousands of people out there. If thousands of people were out there on that island, why didn't nobody see that boy didn't get on a boat? He didn't leave. He was there, sitting in the sand, waiting for everybody to come out. How was he found on that island, face down, Monday morning, 9 o'clock? Nobody knew. People spent the night on that island, according to reports. People spent the night on that island. Why didn't nobody see Nolan? Why didn't Nolan make it to any one of them and say, "Hey, I don't have my phone. Can somebody call somebody come get me? My friends left me. Can you take me to the other side?" See, this stuff don't add up. None of this story adds up. We don't know what the story is from the young men who took him out there. We don't know. But I do know this one thing. Every time I listen to that Warren person talk, that Warren person kept saying, "My friends." Nolan, blah, 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 but my friends, as though he had another set of friends as opposed to Nolan. So if Nolan was with you, why do you keep referring to your friends as my friends over here, but as though Nolan is not friends with those other friends? See, I looked at what he was saying, why he was saying what he was saying. I didn't worry about what he was saying. Half the stuff, I wasn't even listening. I was listening to the way he characterized his friendship with Nolan. Well, my other friends, my set of friends, it was never our friends. It was never me and Nolan's friends. It was never our friends. It was always Warren's friend. Warren always said my friends. He never said our friends. That's what bothered me about that interview with Warren. He always said my friends, and I went on the water. My friends were going on the boat. He never said our. He never said our. And if Nolan was such a good friend, your best friend, the best buddy in the world, he was the bestest, why wouldn't they be his friends too? Why wouldn't you say our friends? Why would you say my friends? So my question is this: why should we black families trust you Mississippian authorities? We shouldn't. We can't. We won't. Trust is not automatic. Trust is built through speed, radical transparency, and treating a dead 18-year-old boy with the exact same urgency as anybody else. So stop smearing his mother. Stop attacking his lawyers. Stop making excuses for the witnesses. Look at the boat. Check the physical evidence. Produce the proof of drowning, or admit you don't have it and admit you spoke too soon, Ledbetter. Because we damn sure don't trust you, because you came out there the day after he died talking about it was an accidental drowning. Now we know you lied. And here's my thing. All y'all at the beginning kept coming out there talking about it was an accidental drowning. Now you can't prove it. Because if you could prove it, you'd shove it in our faces. So let's not try to fit the evidence to your narrative. Why didn't the Mississippi coroner send the throat and the lungs to the Dr. Mitchell in Washington? Why didn't you send the most critical piece of evidence to Dr. Mitchell in Washington, D.C.? Why didn't you do that? We could have put this drowning to bed. We could have put it to bed. We could have said, hey, we got all the evidence we need. He drowned. It was water in the lungs, blah, blah, blah. Y'all didn't do that. Instead, y'all decided y'all was going to smear the mother. Try to smear Nolan. Oh, Nolan was drunk. He was so damn drunk. If that ain't a smearing of the victim, I don't know what is. All y'all were drunk. Why the hell would you need to mention that he was drunk? Why the hell would you need to mention that he was sloppy drunk? Because you're trying to smear that young man. Stop trying to smear that young man and find out who murdered that young man or how he died. Whether he was murdered or he just died somehow randomly at 18, then we need to know that too. Okay? Stop worrying about Ben Crump. Ben Crump came out of the woodwork because Mississippi has a long history of lying to their people, their constituents, whoever. Well, I might as well say black constituents. Let's do it that way. Lying about how people murdered or were murdered or died. Okay? Produce the proof of him drowning or shut your ass up about him drowning, because there ain't been no proof. Ain't nobody pulled no proof out their ass. Ain't nobody said nothing about no drowning. And now that this videotape has surfaced, or this audio tape, this 911 audio tape has surfaced, there's more questions, even more questions. Who's on the boat? Who said Nolan no? Who said check his chest? Who said all of these things that we heard when the audio was enhanced? As I said before, the police and the FBI got technology that can pull them voices up out that damn videotape. Let's see whether they do that or not. Let's see whether it's worth doing or not. Let's see. Are we really going to do it like we're supposed to do it? Is Christina Wansley going to get justice? She said it best. The only question we have is what happened to her son. That's all she want to know. That's all any mother would want to know. Nolan Xavier Wells was somebody's child. His life mattered, and until the state of Mississippi gives his family the full, unvarnished truth about it, we will keep shouting his name. So the young man needs justice. And if you don't have anything to contribute and you don't have nothing but lies and exaggerations, get out the way until the coroner comes up with it. I would love to see the report. I would love to hear what the findings were. As I said, if he really drowned, y'all would have been shoving that in our face. But I don't think that's what happened. But who knows? Yes, we're all fatigued. We're all fatigued with the lies and the subterfuge and all of that. We are so fatigued. Let me read some of these comments in the comment section, because we always have goofy people who want to call me names and stuff like that. But it is what it is. Can't trust them because they're not necessarily because they're white. We can't trust them because they have a history of not telling the truth about certain things. That's all. Y'all are so disgusting making money off this guy's death. The reason why it wasn't there is because it's being thoroughly tested like you guys want. But you mad that it's not going fast. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, son. You have no proof that he was ever hurt. The evidence proves otherwise. No, the evidence doesn't prove otherwise, goofy. The evidence proves a person doesn't just drown. A person doesn't just die. That's the whole point. Just run and cover. No shit. He didn't die drowning him. And all his white rich buddies were doing cocaine. Yeah, fentanyl. Hey, if he died of fentanyl, then that's what he died of. But then come up with the proof and say that. Don't go out there the second day after he's missing and say he drowned when you don't know what the hell happened to him. Nobody knows what happened to him. Just stop. Nothing but lies. Ben Crump is DEI. You'll have no idea. Stop. Shut your dumb ass up. Somebody get his username and jump into his world. These sick ass murderers really going to get what they did to them. And We don't know. Okay. It says, yeah, said they didn't know the mom, but called her after he went missing. Yeah, there's one person that called her after he was missing. That boy had a funeral. I ain't seen not now one of them boys show up. Maybe they did, but they wasn't on camera. All we know so far, those kids lied. Yes, we do know that one fact. We can establish that one fact. Those kids lied about something. We don't know what. It could be perfectly innocent. He could have died of fentanyl poisoning. He could have died of alcohol poisoning. He could have died of many things. Why didn't y'all call 911 when y'all saw him dying? That would be my question. Why didn't y'all call 911 when y'all saw that he was? If you all didn't do anything, why didn't y'all call 911 if y'all recognized that he was in distress? Okay, we don't know. That's what we want to find out. You're right about everything. They know it was Bart who killed him over his ex. What? Look into that. You will find out they are trying to hire Bart. They know it was Bart. Ooh. I heard of Bart and I heard of that, but that's wild. He wouldn't leave his phone, but the keys he would leave back. Yes, he would. He did that. He left his keys with his car. Why are we surprised? No. Where's the support from the Asian community? Because his mother was half Asian. I have no idea why there's no support from the Asian community. Why is that? I don't, I haven't heard anything from the Asian community about it. Wasn't his throat missing during that? Yes, his throat was missing. The coroner in Washington did not get his throat. That's why. Yeah, we all, Scott, we all some kind of stupid. Everybody's stupid. All of us are stupid. We can't see the evidence. We can't see what it is. We didn't hear the videotape. Nobody heard the videotape. Nobody heard them extra people on there. Nobody heard none of that. We just all stupid. And you the smart one, right, Scott? Katie was messing with Bart. Nolan and Katie were messing around. It was said that he died at the judge's house by the pool and basketball court. Bart and a few others jumped on. Ooh. They're not getting away with it. If that's the case, hopefully. Sounds stupid as a screen door on a submarine. That makes sense. It's Mississippi. They will never improve until God burns it down. Whoa. They killed him on a boat. I sound so ignorant. She's talking to herself, not subscribers. That's amazing. Okay, that's amazing. Make all of them take lie detector. Yeah, did they make them all take lie detector tests? We don't know. He was probably fucked up and drowned. That could be a possibility. But if he did, why didn't they find him on the second day? On Sunday. He would have been obviously in the water on Sunday, right? Sunday, right? Who do know? Who is he exactly? He never said it. Gotta go. She's just venting without reading our question. Because I don't read the questions. I just have my presentation and then I read your questions afterwards. Okay. He killed a white boy. Nobody said anything about killing. What we said was we need to have transparency. We need to have an expert look at that video, at that 911 conversation. Okay. They can swim. He can swim. Nolan can swim just fine. He swam like a fish, according to his mom. Okay. And they are absolutely 100% undeniably lying to everyone now. So you're not going to change the taped photos and vocal evidence. No, you can't change those. It is what it is. So hopefully he finds justice. Watch the movie on Life, Mississippi Burning, and The Time to Kill. I did. Why would you leave your sloppy drunk friend? I don't know why they would leave a sloppy drunk friend. I don't know why. I'd have grabbed him by the arm and said, you bring your ass with us because you too drunk to be out here by yourself. That's what I would have did if that was my friend. No, we ain't leaving you. Sorry, you ain't staying. Okay. Who is Bart's family? I have no idea. You have to look into Bart and see what's going on. I'm fatigued. So am I. I'm fatigued about this. I hope the mother gets justice. Okay. I hope his mother gets justice. They're covering something up. We don't know that. Who came into school with Bart? I don't know. Did he sink? Okay. I don't know. I think it's obvious he couldn't swim. No, his parents, the mother said he could swim like a fish. Most people said he could swim. God will avenge Nolan. That's right. That's correct. He will. Okay. Why do them people believe that all black people cannot swim? That all black people can swim? Kids can swim. My husband could swim like a fish. And and the kids swim like a fish. I don't understand why they think they can't swim. I don't get it. He was drunk and he drowned. That may have been the possibility. Yet some races, okay, they got death threats. Yes. So what if they got death threats? Everybody and their mama was at that funeral. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing goofy at the funeral. Too many boats around for a drowning. Too many boats around for a drowning. Maybe that was the case. We don't know. Okay. Trump already got all the fentanyl off the street. Yeah, okay. All the fentanyl ain't off the streets. That's goofy. And all the fentanyl ain't off the streets. Okay. You all shoot each other every day, but one black kid drowns and it's a white kid's fault. That's goofy logic. Goofy logic. What does one have to do with the other? One doesn't have to do with the other. That's goofy. Okay. Heard Bart was supposed to be out of town at the time. Maybe he was. Maybe Bart has nothing to do with it. Okay. Maybe Bart has nothing to do with it. The cover up is unreal. This case is giving white privilege. Maybe it is. We don't know. But all I know is if it would have been 4 black boys, they would have still been in jail because y'all would have found them guilty first and then let them prove themselves second. Y'all would have did that. Definitely. Okay. What is you? You're thick as shit. Yes, I'm thick as hell. And men like it. So fuck off. Okay. Keep giving people to work. We got to do what we got to do. Because I find Mississippi is derelict in their duty. Mississippi is horrible because they didn't kill him. I think it was Carmelo who killed him. Maybe Carmelo did. Who knows? He can dig out of prison with a spoon. Carmelo killed him. Of course he did. Of course he did. Okay. It was Carmelo. Please hit the like button, subscribe button. Content like this every day. I appreciate you guys showing up. I appreciate you. And I will be back later on with more content. I appreciate all that you do and all that you guys are. I appreciate you for this time. I appreciate you guys. Please and thank you. Please and thank you.